Hey, what's up? How's it going? So this video is just going to be the state of my watch collection. For those of you who actually follow my channel, you know that I've had quite a few watches, and at one point in time, I probably had about 12 watches, and they were all really beautiful watches. But then I found that it was just too many, and I really wanted to consolidate the collection, right? Simply because I found that the watches were kind of taking away from each other. You know, at one point I had two divers, I had two dress watches, two chronographs, two GMT watches, actually three GMT watches. Sorry, I actually had three divers, three chronographs, three GMTs, and three dress watches, and there was just too many, right? They were just kind of taking away from each other. So I decided to pare down the collection and just go with, you know, one diver, one chronograph, one GMT watch, one dress watch, and one casual business watch. So this is my my selection. All right, let's just start with the dress watches, right? For me, I used to have the Patek Philippe Calatrava 5107G. It was a beautiful watch. However, I don't wear dress watches very often, and I did not need a date function, right? And I just wasn't wearing that 5107 too much, and I wanted, but I still wanted a Calatrava, so I sold that piece and I picked this up instead. I picked up the Patek Calatrava 5196 manual wine, and it's absolutely stunning, right? It's 37 millimeters in diameter, but it wears more like a 38 or 39 millimeter diameter. It wears larger than the 5107G, simply because the bezel is thinner, and the dial is bigger. So even though the case size is the same, this 5196 wears a lot larger, almost the same size as a Daytona, to be quite frank and honest with you. All right, simply stunning watch, you know. Just hours, minutes, and seconds sub-dial at 6 o'clock. Really beautiful watch, and the winding mechanism on the 5196 is simply exquisite. It's really, really amazing. So that's my ultimate dress watch. You know, let's move on to my business casual watch. And I find that this steel reverso grand date is you know, it's just such a versatile piece. It's got a power reserve, Archie Luxuries, personal reversal, grand date, right, sub seconds at 4 or 5 o'clock, right, beautiful. Flips over to display the movement. You know, this is just a perfect business casual watch. This could be a dress watch as well, but you know, when it comes to like fancy cocktail parties, you know, I think the Calatrava is better suited for that purpose. But it's a beautiful casual businessman's watch, really stunning. All right. The only thing about this watch that that some people may not be aware of is its thickness. It's a fairly thick watch. You know, it's pretty chunky in that sense. May not be for everybody. I think this watch is better worn with long sleeves. You can pull it off with a cuff as well. I mean, I'll just show it to you. You know, it's pretty thick, right? But it's nice. You know, it's a beautiful watch, right? The reversal, simply iconic and classic. So that's my business casual watch. Now onto my diver, right? I picked the Rolex Yachtmaster. It's not a true diver, right? The bezel rotates bi-directionally. A true diver would only rotate one way, but you know, I'm not a diver, and I don't go diving, but I find the bezel to be very useful, right? Because I do time things, you know, like for cooking or for, I don't know, parking meter and stuff. So it's a very useful feature. And the fact that it's bi-directional, I can actually use it when I go travel. This can represent a 12-hour bezel marker, right? So I can keep track of 2 time zones. And you know, I used to have the Omega Seamaster along with the Rolex Submariner 14060, the two-liner, beautiful watch, absolutely stunning watch, right? The Submariner, no date, simple Submariner, and that was a tough sell, right? I really struggled with that one, but you know, I picked the Yachtmaster because I don't know, and I just like the blue, and I like the, you know, it's got just a little luster to it, right? The Submariner is a great watch too, right? Extremely functional, very professional tool watch, kind of functionality, right? It's very, I guess it's a professional watch, you know. I'm not a Submariner. My watches, you know, I like my watches to be a little fun, a little colorful. And so I decided to go with this Yachtmaster. I just love the blue, right? At certain angles it looks black, there's the splashes of red text and the seconds hands. You know, I really like the color scheme of this Yachtmaster, and it definitely looks a lot more luxurious than the Submariner, right? And to me that was what I like, right? Obviously the Yachtmaster is nowhere close in terms of historical significance or being an icon when compared to the Submariner. Right? Submariner hands down is the watch to get, but I've owned it, I've loved the Submariner, and I realized that I just like the Yachtmaster a little better, right? And it's my choice, you know. Submariner is a great watch, but everybody aspires to have a Submariner. Everybody wants a Submariner, you know. The ceramic subs, right? And you know, I guess this is a little different. Okay, so I picked the Yachtmaster, beautiful watch. Now, as for my chronograph, well, this one is none other than the Rolex Daytona. I had many chronographs as well. I had multiple Speedmasters. I think I've had almost every iteration of the Speedmaster, vintage and modern, sapphire, acrylic crystal, and I love the Speedmaster. However, you know, when I owned both of them, I just, you know, when I wore the Daytona, I just didn't want to wear the Speedmaster. And when I wore the Speedmaster, I just wanted to wear the Daytona, you know, and that's how I knew that, yeah, just go with the Daytona. I know it's a little bit cliche, right? That the Daytona is truly an aspirational piece. Love it or hate it, but it is, you know, objectively speaking, a really amazing watch. I really love this Daytona, and you know, it's a victim of its own success, right? People want it, you know, because it is a beautiful watch. It's simply stunning, and you know, the pushers when you start and stop the chronograph, the feel of it is just so great, you know. It's just so supple, so firm, responsive, right? I owned 3 chronographs at one point. I had a Vacheron Constantin Overseas 49140 along with a Speedmaster. It was a 3-2-1 movement at the time, and I sold the other 2 chronographs, right? The 49140 Overseas, that was also a fantastic chronograph, right? It featured the Piguet 1185 movement, but you know, it was taking away time from the Daytona, right? Same thing with the Speedmaster. When I wore the Overseas chronograph, all I could think about was the Rolex Daytona, right? I wanted to wear this instead. So I decided to sell those 2 watches, the Speedmaster and the Overseas, and kept this instead. Right, beautiful watch. So that's my chronograph. As for my GMT, you know, this is a bit of an oddball, right? The obvious choice would be the Rolex GMT Master 2, which I had, along with the Rolex Explorer 2, which I had as well, and they were fantastic watches. You know, if I had to choose between the Explorer 2 and the GMT, you know, if price was not a factor, I would go with the Explorer 2. I really love the Explorer 2, but ultimately, you know, when I owned this Royal Oak Dual Time and I put it on my wrist, I was just blown away. You know, it's a fantastic piece. The Royal Oak is probably my favorite sports watch and design of all time. Fantastic piece. I used to own a vintage Royal Oak, but I had to sell it because I lost a bunch of weight. My wrist shrunk, and those vintage bracelets could not be replaced. So I sold it, and I replaced it with this Royal Oak Dual Time 26120, and I'm just absolutely over the moon with it. You know, this is a beautiful watch, dual time zone, and same thing. You know, when I wore this Royal Oak Dual Time, I just did not want to wear the Explorer 2 or the GMT. You know, when it comes to a time zone watch, it's absolutely stunning. This is probably my favorite watch in the collection. You know, the Grand Tapisserie dial, along with the sub dials. You know, it may be, you know, it may be busy for some people, but I feel that the balance is the spacing within the dial is just perfectly balanced, because the Royal Oak is a big watch. Even though it's 39 millimeters, it wears more like a 41 millimeter watch. And there's a lot of dial space. You know, when I looked at a 15300, it was just it's a beautiful watch, right? But, you know, with the surface area of that dial, you know, you could have, you could add some sub dials, right? And this is what you get, right? White dial, just absolutely love it. So this is my 5-piece collection. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it. You know, I think less is more. For me, 5 watches is the perfect number. Okay, anyways, I'm out. Bye.